Yeah, good afternoon and welcome back to Mark's Railway Trails. And what you're looking at now, I'm going to flip my camera around in a minute. Uh, we're on a car park here in a supermarket, and you're probably thinking, this is supposed to be Railway Trails, but this is the wanted to start at part of this journey really. Well, what you're looking at over there, and I'm just going to take you down and show you now. Just where it leads up there, they built the road going up. That used to be a tunnel running all along here, and you see where all the trees are above, and I can show you a bit more as we get further up. See where the brickwork is there, that was the opening of the tunnel. If you flick your camera along, it goes all the way along here. You built the road over it, and then it goes all the way to where the terraced houses are. I'm not going to show you where go down where the terraced houses are, because there's actually an opening, a serving hatch, that you can still get in to the tunnel from there. But the street where it has, you get to the end, the residents were sick of people, trying to get into this tunnel and walk it. So I'm not going to show that bit because I don't want people to know where it is really. And I've walked that. I've been under this tunnel and done it. It's only a small one, but it's a serving hatch that they can check what the tunnel's like underneath. But just here, all this bit was filled in, and I'll flip the camera around in a minute and you know where I am. And what we're following today is a Triplex line that went from St Helens all the way over into Triplex at Eccleston. So I'll walk it now and I'll just show you. I'll get a few funny looks here because I'm on a car park and I think, what's Eva doing? Well, I just wanted to show you that because that's where it used to lead to, and the tunnel used to run off down Eccleston Street, and you can just see Eccleston Street there now where the barracks is. It's the army barracks, and that used to be KK Superstore, or KK Crazy Cuts as he used to call it. We used to go there as a young lad with my mum every Thursday for our shopping. Busy store in its day, and the likes of Harry Taylor and David Dunkley will tell you all about that. Really busy in its day. I'll flip my camera around now and you'll know where we are. We're actually in Boundary Road now, which is Morrison's in Boundary Road, which used to be the Co-op Superstore. St Helens Society built this as one of their new superstores. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as well. And after the Co-op sold off all the big stores, Morrison's bought this off the Co-op, and they didn't need planning permission for it because all the structure and everything was here, and they just kind of built on it. So yeah, if you look back up there now, you'll see it, and you'll just see how it runs along. And in the background, you can actually see some of the towers from Pilks that lead over into the Greenway as well. Well, I'm going to sneak through here now because you get a few funny looks on these walks when you're you're not on the railway line. But we're going to pick up the railway line now because this is the way it used to run. That was the tunnel which ran all the way along there. That's where Morrison's is now, which used to be Co-op Superstore. Well, I'll take you down this way, and this is where we hit the Triplex line, as we called it in Eccleston. We're being Eccleston lads. We'd have walked this coming home from school, and I always remember you come along here and you kind of did a left there, which took you up to Borough Road. So this bit's going to be a little bit boring, but nice to see the old warehouse, same as when the Co-op had it virtually, and I can tell you some tales about that as well. especially regarding Gordon Betterley, the man with many long words. But this is what we're looking for now, and this is where we're going to hit it, and you'll see it now as we're coming up. They call it the Eccleston branch line, but us being locals, we call it the Triplex line, because this line used to take, it was never a passenger line, it was only freight for its entire career, its entire life really. And where you're looking now, there used to be a bridge here that went over the road, but there it is, Eccleston branch line. I'll flip my camera around, and like I say, that's Morrison's in Boundary Road now, and just you can see the hill, and just further to your left, that's where the tunnel used to run along. Like I say, you can still walk that, you can still do it, although it's not a big tunnel now. They've filled virtually all of it in, apart from, you know, probably take you 10 minutes to walk it, you know, but you can still walk it and go through the serving hatch, down the little side street. But like I say, I don't want to show you that because there's a couple of old residents who live down there. They got sick of people getting into it, and I know if somebody starts watching my channel, they'll all go and try and do it. So I've walked it, and it's very good. It is a very good little tunnel to walk. But there it is, Morrison's, which was the co-op at Boundary Road, and happy memories again for me with the co-op there, you know. I'll tell you, I might as well tell you about it now as I'm going on this walk. Happy memories for me at that store, because I was electrical manager at Boundary Road, sorry, electrical manager at Newton Superstore, and I actually got asked to come to this store as electrical manager, and my heart was still at Newton, to be honest, because I loved it. But I'm not sure if it was Harry Taylor or David Dunkley said, you know, it's an opportunity that could just set your career off, go for it, you know, and I did, and I never looked back, probably, coming to this store really. I'll tell you a little bit more because it gets a bit monotonous as well. Let's just keep looking at certain things. But so this is what we call the Triplex branch line, that ran all the way up to the Pilkington's Triplex factory in Eccleston, and it's all freight really, that they used down this line. It was never a passenger line, but in the 60s you could actually, they had like open days some days where they had a train that you could go down on it to show you the line. It's like a bit of a nostalgia tour that they did. I never did it, I've just read about it, you know, that's what they did. That's the only time passengers were on this line. But this leads to a very famous rugby ground as well. And you'll all know what it is when we're in St Helens. The old Saints rugby ground, it led past, and it used to go behind the seating stadium at St Helens. And I always remember walking that as well, and you could, the line was a lot deeper than the ground, you know, and I always remember as a kid going on the line, and it took some climbing to get up the bank to get back on, you know, near Saints ground. It was a bit frightening when you was a kid, to be honest with you. But again, that's off to St Helens Council. They've opened this up as a walkway now, when they lifted the lines and cleared it all. Just look how good that is. How good that is. And if you look to your left, you still get a lot of the old terraced houses that are still here. Obviously been modernised since. But like I said, they all call this, we call it the Triplex line, but it's known as the, there you go, Eccleston branch line. Now, I'm on my mountain bike again today, but I thought I'm going to lock my mountain bike up and walk it. Now, where tyres and autos are there, that used to be Roscoe Motors, and everybody will remember Roscoe Motors. I used to take my car there when I was a young lad with no money, you know, and if you had no money and your car broke, you could take it to Roscoe Motors and you could give him post-dated checks. So if you wasn't paid, you know, you didn't have enough money until your next got paid, you could post-date your check once you got no. Cracking guy, fix anything. And that used to be Dooley's Undertakers, which is next door. And people that know this area, you know, this is the way I used to walk home from school. Just down there. That'll take you to Knowsley Road Infant School, and this is the way we used to walk home for dinners as well, because this used to take you up to, you can just see in the background, you'll see Pilk's head offices near the Bird in Hand, and that's where I obviously came from. We used to walked it everywhere then, you know. Walked it home for a dinner, you know, take you 20 minutes walk home, have your dinner, and then take you 20 minutes walk back. But what a good job they've done on it. And again, there used to be a bridge here. Yeah. Used to be a bridge here coming across. If you see it here, it's no longer here now, but that's where the bridge used to come across and you used to walk under it. But all that's been taken down now. But what a terrific job, you know, they've cleared it up. And but what a nice day again today for going out on the trail. And there you go, you can see it a bit better now. You used to come down here and it used to be a lot high. If you look at the other side, it was about the same height as that, and there used to be a bridge there that you used to go under, which they've just knocked down, so they don't have to maintain it. And it's a lot safer as well. I think they do a lot of that for health and safety as well. Plus, they ain't got the money to maintain them, so they just knock them down, St Helens Council. And I can understand sometimes them doing that, but sometimes it'd be nice just to leave, you know. We follow this trail, and I've done this trail a few times, and you can lead right up to Eccleston Mere along here at one time. Obviously now I'll show you at the end, it's all been kind of cut off really, it's new housing estate. But if you look along here, the houses here, I always remember my mate David Thorpe, who lived in one of these, who I used to walk to school with, and people didn't realise how big the back gardens were on them houses. They were massive, massive back gardens. You know, if I flip my camera up and I'll show you a bit as I get further up. In fact, you probably see it as you get further up. But again, if you walk in this, you can just see it's a railway line, because the embankments, how high up we are now. There you go, that's a cracking shot. David Thorpe lived, off the top of my head, I'm sure it was number 24. And I always remember the first time I went in his garden, you couldn't believe how big it was. Massive, massive gardens. And very clever lad, David Thorpe. Went on to be a headmaster at our old school at Rivington Road, which is now I think it's a Rivington Junior School. Well, I'll give you a bit more history of this line as we get further in, but there you go, there's a shot how big gardens they've got. Massive. But yeah, this was just used to take freight to Triplex. And for those of you who don't know what Triplex is, it's Pilkington's glass, and Triplex was used to manufacture a lot of the windows for cars, the glass and stuff. Very busy in its day, and that's gone now, Triplex. new housing estate. So another one that's gone. And Neil Wardle, being an Eccleston lad, you know, we used to go Triplex club on a Friday night. They used to always have soul nights and different things on. So it's not a long walk. It's a short walk really, but I just want to get it on the blog really, because again it's another piece of local history in St Helens. But as you can see, new houses. And as we're coming up now here, this used to be a bridge as well, and the cars used to go under it, but it's all been filled in now, as you can see. Just all been filled in. So it's not a big walk this morning. I just wanted to get this on the blog really, especially with Boundary Road on it as well. If you're looking across there now, that's the Black Bull, massive pub. That used to be a real posh bowling green, and they just used it as a child's playing area now, which is good. But we never went in the Black Bull, because if you go left here now, I'll just show you where we are. That's where we've come down. It's the Eccleston branch line. But if you look up there now and you go down that road, carry on to the top, that'll take you to the Bird in Hand on your left. And if you're looking across here now, and all the new housing estate now, this was the old Saints ground, and as you can tell, they've all been named after Saints players. The Ken Coslett Drive, so it's all named after players, you know. And like I say, here you'd have been on top, and underneath would have been the railway. But again, as you can see how it inclines up, it's all been filled in, and a new housing estate put up. And there you're thinking what that is. That used to be a cracking toffee shop, sweet shop on your way to school. There was one there and one on the end, but everybody went to this one, and you could get mix-ups and 10p mix-ups and stuff, bazooka chewing gum and stuff. It was always in there. And there used to be a wall here that you could sit on and look down on the railway, but the embankment on that railway, it used to drop, and you used to get on it, you know, and although there was no real trains on it, you know, you'd walk it, and then your mates would say, "There's a train coming," you'd be legging it. But yeah, that takes you up to the Bird in Hand, and that's why we never went to the Black Bull really. If you lived round here, if you lived at the top end, everybody went to the Bird in Hand. If you lived at the bottom end, everybody went in the Black Bull. But like I say, it's not a big walk. I'll tell you some dates now as I'm walking back down it really. But I just wanted to get it on my railway blog really, because again it's another piece of history really, and it obviously being around the corner from where I grew up, you know, we used to walk this when the lines were down, you know. A bit of an adventure really, and especially when you got near the end near Boundary Road and you went under the bridges, and then there's that big long tunnel, and it wasn't really a long tunnel, but when you was a kid you thought it was, you know. But yeah, I think 1859 this line opened, and it was for freight only, and it went to Triplex Glassworks, and the engines that came down here, surprise surprise, they all came from Sutton Oak Sheds when we did the other walk the other week, and they're all linked. And the reason they're all linked, because they're all linked for the collieries, to supply things to the collieries. Like if you look up there now, that leads to the Saints ground where it used to be. You go past the Saints ground, then there was Triplex, and then if you carried on to what they call Giller's Green near Eccleston Mere, there was Giller's Green Colliery, and it used to supply stuff for Giller's Green Colliery as well, and coal coming down this line. So they're all linked into each other, you know, and then this would link up into town. You know, the railways that we had in this country was unbelievable, you know. I've got a map at home what my dad shown all the railway lines in this country, and it was unbelievable. And if you match it up now to what railway lines there is in this country, you wouldn't believe it. Honestly, it's frightening. We had the best railway structure in the world, you know, because they just did so much on railways then. And I know you can't keep them all open, but what a waste. And beaching, you know, they cut it when they thought the motorways was the answer. If only had a magic wand where he could revert it back now, how popular would all them railway lines be? You know, the seaside towns, you know, down south and all over the country, that some that still haven't got a railway to get to it when they had. It's frightening, you know, it really is. But yeah, this 1859 it opened, and trying to find any history on this line, it's very hard because it wasn't a passenger line. They don't really document it a lot, so it took me a while looking up this really. And luckily a couple of the guys on Disused Railway Lines group that I've on give me some information on it, because they said they struggled to find information on it. And I know they get a bit monotonous, these walks, but it's just nice to see. And that was the old electric power station. It's still in use now, but not like it was in its heyday. And again, new houses just built, you know. But yeah, 1859 this line opened, and if my dates are right, 1967 was virtually when it closed. And a lot of that, you just know what it is when the collieries all started to close. You know, they didn't need the lines for the collieries, and then Triplex, I think that shut in I would say late 70s. I've not got the exact date on that. I did look it up when Triplex actually closed at Pilkington's, and I'm sure it was late 80s when they got took over. I'm sure it was mid 80s, I would say, because my dad worked at Pilkington's after leaving the railway, and he retired in the 80s. In his 50s, he took the money and run, and it's the best thing he ever did, he said, because, and I always remember him saying to me when he did it, you know, I'm taking the money and run, because you don't know how long you've got. How right he was, because if he'd have worked till he was like my granddad until his late 60s, he'd probably have had about 8 years of retirement before he passed away. So it was a good shout that my dad did that, really. Tied at 55, unfortunately passed away when he was 72. But it's not a long retirement, but he did enjoy his retirement and did the things he wanted to do, holidays, and setting up his railway club with all his mates, building trains. And so, you know, lesson to be learnt there. As my dad always said to me, don't work till you drop. He's bloody right, you know, bloody right. So yeah, the dates I've got is about 1967. This line kind of closed, and 1984, 1988, Triplex went and stuff, took all the lines up, and I think they got a government grant that you could get at the times, and they'd made it into a walkway. It's only a small walkway, but it's nice to see, you know. Nice to see. But you can just see the line here where the bridge would have gone over the road there and then swung round past Boundary Road in St Helens, the Morrison's, which was the co-op, and another building that, you know, when I came to Boundary Road as electrical manager, and the reason I came here was Newton Superstore. Electrical sales did a lot more than Boundary Road electrical sales, and they couldn't understand why, because Boundary Road took a lot more money food wise, bigger space on electrical, but didn't take the money. And when I arrived, they gave me a free hand hall furnace to set it up how I wanted, and I remember setting it up and ordering all this stock in, and I think Paul Lee took over just shortly after I came, and I ordered all this stock in, and he was going mad. He said, "What have you ordered all this in for?" I said, "Because we're going to sell it, Paul, you know." And I did some superb displays of MIDI systems and portable TVs, hi-fis, and you know what, it flew out. It absolutely flew out, and I never looked back from there really. And all fairness to Paul Lee and June Woods, they trained me on grocery, and that's how I came on to become a store manager on the grocery department, and then just went on from there really. But yeah, what a good walk. You know, if you want to find it, just find Boundary Road at Morrison's and then walk this line, and you can go further. I've only done it to the Saints ground because I just want to document this little line really. But if you walk past the Saints ground, you can actually go on to Eccleston Mere now, and Eccleston Mere is a bit of a grey area now as well, because they've sold it. It's all fenced off, and they don't like you to walk in Eccleston Mere now. Well, I'm going to do that blog because I still know a ways in and ways out, and I'll walk it. You know, I've walked it many times, so it's not a railway walk, but it really is a nice walk. Well, that's it. Another nice Sunday on Mark's Railway Trails. Hope you've enjoyed this little walk, and it shows you where the Saints ground was, and most importantly, it'll show you where the old tunnels were as well, and another co-op superstore, which is now Morrison's. So hope you've enjoyed it. Not a lot to see, but there you go. You're going to come and walk it. That's the line that you're looking for, Eccleston branch line, and there's not a lot to see, but I just needed to get it on the blog, and anybody in St Helens, they all know it as a Triplex line. So see you soon on Mark's Railway Trails.